enough that somebody's emailing him, asking him what his experience of the job is. So luckily the closing date for graduate applications was coming in, so I was able to move the attack along fairly quickly. So here's the response I got from Bob. Hi Sharon, I'm very impressed with your guile in getting my email address. And this poor guy Bob has no idea as to the extent my guile goes. So you should not be at all concerned with whether your degree course is not relevant for the job. He goes on to say, I think the fact you do computer science is a benefit because you will have developed analytical and logic skills which are very important in analysing emails like this one. Also, your linguistics background demonstrates communicative skills that you will be able to use perfectly in your social engineering attacks. But it was the third paragraph when I knew that I was into the organisation. So Bob asks, there will be an area on the form asking where you heard about the job. If you put my name down, it'll show that you've taken time and initiative to talk to me, and it's something I would certainly mention to the grad HR team. So when I see this, I know that if I join this organisation, Bob gets a kickback, he gets a referral fee, he's going to get some cash if I join the organisation. So you know what I said about offering an incentive earlier? Well, there's something in it for Bob, so he's going to go out of his way to help me. So I email him back, hi Bob, thanks for replying. I flatter his organisation a bit, you know, it's better than all the other organisations that I've been talking to, so I'd really like to work there. So Bob, I'm actually in London tomorrow and Wednesday for a last minute interview. Also, I happen to live in London, that's pretty convenient. So I was wondering if it might be possible to come in for a quick 15-minute visit, not use up too much of your time, because, well, I don't really want to talk to you, I want to get into your network, and see the kind of thing you do in your company, and maybe go through some of my answers in the application form. So Bob, can I come in and meet you, or can I come in and talk to graduate HR? I really appreciate all your help. Yeah. If you need directions, just let me know. I will let reception know you are coming, so just report to reception, and they will give you a pass. So I did. So in spite of all the security guards, all the receptionists, in spite of the machine like they have at airports that scans your bags on the way in spite of being surrounded on three sides by water, I just walked up to reception and they had a pass ready for me. So Bob comes down to collect me and he brings me up to the canteen to go through the application form that I had filled in that very morning. And Bob went up to buy me a cup of coffee, for which I feel quite guilty. And while Bob was up buying the coffee, this guy comes in and he says, "Hey Sharon!" I thought, oh my God, I've been recognised. This guy was Irish. I was thinking, what are you, like my cousin or someone I knew a long time ago? I was really embarrassed. But it turned out Bob had told this other Irish graduate that there was an Irish final year student coming in to see them, so he wanted to come down and check me out. So luckily I got off the hook. So Bob buys the coffee, he comes back and we spend 15 minutes going through the application form, talking about all kinds of financial things I was trying to bluff my way through. 15 minutes was up and I said, well Bob, listen, thanks very much for all your help, that's been really useful to me. And he gets up to show me out and I said, well Bob, actually my flight's not for another couple of hours, would you mind if I just hung around and typed up my answers? And he said, well, you know, we're not really supposed to leave visitors unescorted in the building. And I looked outside and it was a cold winter's day, grey sky, lashing rain, and I said, oh, please Bob, I've nowhere else to go, and I tell you what, when I'm finished I'll give you a call so you can escort me out. So he says, well okay then, but just do me one favour, will you hide your visitor's pass? And what a thing to say to a social engineer. So Bob left the canteen, I packed up, I got my laptop, I legged it, I found a meeting room and I plugged in. Got access to their network and pretty much owned them. I tried to get back into the canteen, but it was swipe card access, so I was stuck. So I had no option. I couldn't get back into the canteen to call Bob. So I went down to reception. And I think this was about 5:30. People were starting to leave the office. And who do I bump into at reception like an hour later? Only Bob. So again, I was really quite embarrassed. He says, "Sharon, where were you? You were supposed to call me when you were finished." And I said, "Yeah, Bob, but you know, I told you I was in town for this other interview, and they called me. So I went out of the canteen so I could have somewhere quiet to take my call, and I couldn't get back in again." And he said, "Oh, thank God! I thought you were running around trying to blow up the building or something." So poor Bob. So there you go, some of the things that can go wrong in the social engineering test. You may be recognised, it's a small world. As I said, the balance of power can backfire, so you mightn't be able to get the information out of people. Sometimes when you're new to social engineering and new to playing a role, some people really overcompensate and give tons and tons of detail, and that can sound really quite suspicious. And you may break some laws, so you need to be very aware of the local laws where you're going to do your social engineering. So you do need to be prepared. So I think I'm pretty much out of time, so what can you do to help prevent social engineering attacks? Well, it comes down to making your staff aware that there's a problem, that social engineering is a problem, and ensuring that your staff know what to do if they suspect they're being social engineered. And there's loads of different ways you can do this, but it's key to have an ongoing education and awareness program to keep your staff aware. Your security policy should hopefully deal with social engineering. You can vet your staff. It's really fun to get your staff involved, so especially to talk to people who would be targeted by social engineers, like maybe your call centre, reception, IT help desk, and ask them how they would social engineer their way into the organisation. It's a really good exercise you do. And above all, careful who you trust. Don't trust anyone, and especially don't trust me. So that's it from me. If you have any questions about social engineering, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, we're running out of time, but we'll try to have 1 or 2 questions. Anybody?
Too scared. I won't try and social engineer you back in the questions or anything.
Do you use a lot of NLP during your work?
You know, not necessarily that I'm aware of. I know it is really useful, and it's definitely a tool in the social engineers arsenal that you can use for social engineering. And lately I have been trying to work on things like learning how to mirror and match better, so if people make certain gestures, trying to read them better. But it's not necessarily the key part to social engineering. It can certainly help you, but it's whether or not you feel comfortable doing it, I guess.
Maybe explain what the acronym means, NLP.
NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, right? So if people make certain gestures, like if they hold their chin like this, the NLP person might copy them in an attempt to make them feel more relaxed, or to build up a rapport. So it's all about building up a rapport. Or they may use, they may emphasize certain words to try and convince people to execute their actions. But I'm certainly not an NLP master. That's something I would surely like to learn.
Okay, thank you, Sharon.
Okay, thank you.